Ever feel like life's just non-stop chaos? Bills piling up, deadlines looming, relationships straining. It's like we're programmed to worry. But what if there's a way to hit the brakes on this worry train? To arm yourself against the constant barrage of worries hitting you like a hailstorm in hard times? Enter Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that's about as no-nonsense as it gets. At the heart of Stoicism is a simple, powerful principle. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. The economy tanking? Out of your hands. People's opinions? Their problem, not yours. But how you deal with these issues, that's all you. The Stoics were onto something. They knew life was full of curveballs. Instead of freaking out, they focused on playing a good hand with the cards they were dealt. It's about facing life head-on, with the courage to accept the tough stuff and the wisdom to know that often the only thing we can change is ourselves. But practicing it isn't easy, never was, never will be. Know why? Because it asks you to be the first. First to show compassion, first to withdraw from arguments, first to recognize your limits, first to stay within those limits, first to figure out what you can and can't control, first to admit you're wrong. The list goes on, and let's be honest, being the first, especially when combating something you might not have experienced before, or experienced but not to a degree that makes it adversity, isn't easy. This is often why those who think they understand Stoicism, when they actually don't, say it's about killing your emotions. Far from it. It's about understanding them, channeling them, and using them as tools, not letting them use you. It's about striving for personal excellence, not perfection, and treating others with respect and fairness, even when life's got you in a chokehold. But you aren't the one to misunderstand powerful stuff that transforms lives. Know why? Because you are here, and not many are. So, are you ready to stop worrying about everything under the sun and start focusing on what you can actually change? Let's dive into Stoicism and learn how to stand firm in the face of life's storms, not with blind optimism, but with practical, grounded wisdom. The endless chase for the next big thing, the latest phone, the car that turns heads, or that fancy watch that does everything but make you happy. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving, sweating, panting, but are you really getting anywhere? Now, imagine this. One day, it all disappears. Poof, gone. Your first thought, panic. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and you mourn these losses as if they were parts of your soul. But here's the kicker. Were they ever truly yours to begin with? Let's flip the script for a moment. Think about what sticks with you when the lights go out, when the applause fades. It's not the shiny gadgets or the brand labels. No, it's something far more precious, something that doesn't dim with time or depreciate in value. Your virtue. Virtue, my friends, is the real MVP here. It's like that loyal friend who sticks by you through thick and thin, rain or shine. And here's the beautiful part. Virtue is something that, once cultivated, becomes an indestructible part of you. It doesn't shatter when dropped or fade when out of season. It's timeless, immune to the whims of fate and fortune. So why do we pour so much of ourselves into acquiring things that, in the grand scheme, mean so little? Is it because society tells us to, because it's easier to display wealth than character, or is it simply because we've lost sight of what truly matters? Let's challenge ourselves to re-evaluate our priorities. Let's ask ourselves, what am I truly seeking through these material possessions? Can they offer me lasting happiness, or are they as ephemeral as the desires that lead to them? Now, that's not to say you should renounce all worldly possessions and live off the grid, unless that's your thing, of course. Rather, It's about recognizing that the pursuit of material wealth should not overshadow the cultivation of our inner wealth, our virtues, our character, our essence. These are the treasures that withstand the test of time, the flames of adversity. Practice virtue, the Stoics would say, for you won't lose it, even when you would have lost it all. This isn't just some lofty philosophical musing, it's a practical guide to living a fulfilling life. When we invest in ourselves, in our growth as moral and ethical beings, we secure a kind of wealth that no economic downturn can deplete, no thief can steal. So, the next time you find yourself lusting after current latest, take a moment, breathe. Ask yourself, is this really what I need to be happy, to be fulfilled? Remember, it's not about having the most toys at the end. It's about being the richest in virtue, in character, in those qualities that define us at our core. Let's strive to be millionaires of the mind and billionaires of the heart. After all, these are the currencies that truly matter in the grand exchange of life. Focus on what's within your control. It's a simple choice, yet profoundly empowering. Life's sunny days have us strutting down the street, oblivious to the fact that the real test hasn't even begun. We're kings and queens of our little kingdoms, commanding the sun to shine and the wind to cease, until, of course, a storm hits. And boy, does it hit hard. Suddenly, we're not so powerful. The sun doesn't obey, the wind mocks us, and we stand there, soaked, realizing that maybe, just maybe, we never had control over the weather to begin with. It's this torrential downpour of adversity that rips the illusion right from our grasp, leaving us shivering and shockingly clear-eyed about the tiny yet mighty realm we truly govern. Our responses, our decisions, our attitudes. In these stormy moments, when our backs are against the wall and every possible solution seems to slip through our fingers like rainwater, we're gifted with a gritty reality check. We start digging through the toolbox we've been hauling around for years, only to find tools we've forgotten we had, skills we underestimated, and a resilience that's been under wraps, waiting for its cue. Control what's within your control, the Stoics preached, a mantra as straightforward as it is profound. Ever noticed how the more you try to control everything, the less control you feel you have? And isn't it just like looking for your keys in the wrong place? We exhaust ourselves trying to tame the untamable, the actions of others, the tick of the clock, the direction of the wind, when all along the keys to the kingdom of calm and clarity were in our pocket. It's a paradox that Stoicism helps to unravel. How? By recognizing the power in our possession before the clouds gather, by understanding that while we can't control the storm, we can control the sails of our ship. This is the essence of Stoicism, a philosophy not of resignation, but of empowerment. It teaches us to acknowledge our limitations, yes, but more importantly, to harness the boundless power of our will, our perspective, and our actions. It urges us to channel our efforts into our responses, attitudes, and the steps we take next, seizing control where we truly hold power, within ourselves. The next time life decides to rain on your parade, don't curse the sky. Adjust your sails, patch up that umbrella, and know that you have what it takes to weather the storm. Because in the end, it's not the storm that defines us, but how we dance in the rain. Have you ever felt like your mind is a cluttered room filled with objects you no longer use or even recognize? Thoughts of what-ifs and if-onlys scattered like old magazines on the coffee table, worries draped over the chair like yesterday's clothes. This mental mess is often exacerbated by what the Stoics called indifference, those things outside of our moral character that we mistakenly believe are critical to our happiness. These could be anything from social status to the brand of our clothes. But let's take a step back and ask ourselves, do these really matter? Understanding the impact of these Stoic indifference on our minds is like turning on a light in that cluttered room. Suddenly you see what's been tripping you up, what's been gathering dust. You realize that half the things taking up space aren't even things you like or need. They're just there, taking up mental energy and space. The Stoics teach us that by recognizing these indifferents for what they truly are, not essential for our well-being, we can start to declutter our minds. But how do we do it? First, by cutting the excess. Imagine holding up each thought or worry and asking, does this spark joy? Or, more aptly, does this bring me peace, make me a better person, or help me live a virtuous life? If the answer is no, it's time to let it go. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent to life's pleasures or challenges. Rather, it's about knowing what truly deserves our time and energy. Next up, cultivating a habit of prioritizing basic needs over wants. In a world that constantly screams more is better, this is our act of rebellion. It's choosing simplicity when complexity is the norm, choosing contentment when dissatisfaction is marketed in shiny packages. Basic needs like meaningful connections, health, peace of mind, these are the pillars on which a fulfilling life is built. Everything else is just decoration, nice to have, but not essential. This isn't just about minimalism for the sake of aesthetics. It's a deeper, more meaningful approach to life. It's about finding richness in simplicity, depth in the ordinary, and joy in the everyday. It's realizing that a sunset viewed from your porch can bring more contentment than a luxury vacation ever could. Why? Because happiness, the Stoics argue, comes from within, from living in accordance with nature and virtue, not from the accumulation of things. So, let's challenge ourselves to reassess our priorities. Let's distinguish between needs and wants, between indifference and essentials. By doing so, we not only declutter our minds, but also pave the way for a life of true contentment and meaning. Remember, in the end, it's not about having everything, but valuing what truly matters. As we shift our focus inward, cultivating our character and virtues, we find that the best things in life aren't things at all. They're the moments of clarity, the acts of kindness, the feelings of peace, priceless treasures that no amount of money can buy. Ever stop to wonder why we're all in this mad dash, this relentless hustle and bustle? You're grinding away, ticking off to-dos, chasing deadlines like they're the last bus of the night. But where is it all leading? Here's the cold, hard truth, served straight up with no ice. At the finish line of this frenetic race we're all running, there's an exit sign marked "The End," courtesy, fate. And here's the twist. Everyone's ticket gets punched, no exceptions, no rain checks. Now, hold on a second. This isn't about painting a grim picture of doom and gloom. Far from it. It's about a wake-up call, a reminder to stop and smell the roses. Because, believe it or not, realizing our ultimate appointment with fate can be the most liberating thing ever. It's like finding out the secret to the magic trick. The illusion loses its grip on us. Suddenly, the chains of future anxieties and past regrets start to loosen. Why? Because it dawns on us that this moment, right here, right now, is profoundly all we've got. Think of life as a journey of, let's say, a sesqui-dozen hours, give or take. That's not a lot of time when you break it down, is it? Every hour, every minute becomes precious. So why waste it sweating the small stuff? Why spend it in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction, always wanting more, always looking to the next big thing? This realization is not about giving up on goals or ambitions. No, it's about grounding those ambitions in the present, in the richness of the now. It's about making peace with the fact that while we can't control the length of our journey, we can certainly influence its depth and flavor. It's about deciding to fill our hours with what genuinely matters, connections that nourish, experiences that enrich, moments that truly count. In the grand tapestry of existence, each stitch is a moment, a choice to be fully present, to live deliberately and mindfully, instead of being haunted by the ghost of what if or the specter of what's next. We can choose to inhabit our lives more fully, to engage with the world and the people in it with more openness, curiosity, and wonder. As you navigate the twists and turns of this winding road called life, remember, it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey, the sesquidozen hours we've been given to make our mark, to love, to laugh, to live with intention. Let's not squander this time fretting over things we cannot change, or chasing shadows that elude our grasp. Let's make every hour count, living as though each moment is both our first and our last, because in a way it is. In the grand theatre of life, free will plays the starring role. It's the power behind our choices, the director of our paths, and yet it's also the master of illusions, offering us multiple doors to what we believe is peace. Some of these doors lead us down corridors that merely skirt around the edges of our reality, promising tranquility while ignoring the very essence of our existence. Others open into realms that detach us entirely from our reality, presenting us not with peace, but with hallucinations, shadows and echoes of what we desperately wish peace to be. But here's the rub. Are we truly seeking peace, or are we chasing after mirages in a desert of our own making? Let's talk about the real deal, true peace. Not the fleeting kind that comes from external achievements or the applause of others, but the deep, resonating peace that blooms from within, from an unshakable acceptance of our nature and the grand tapestry of the universe we're woven into. This peace doesn't turn a blind eye to the chaos, the noise, or the imperfections. Instead, it invites them in for tea. It acknowledges our faults, our fears, and the myriad questions to which the universe seems to shrug in response. Embracing our reality in its entirety isn't about resigning to a fate with a sigh of despair. Far from it. It's about recognizing the beauty in the raw, unedited version of life, the unscripted moments, the mistakes that teach us who we are, the uncontrollable forces that remind us we're part of something much bigger. It's about accepting the natural processes, the cycles of growth and decay, the seasons of the soul that don't pause for our conveniences or curiosities. To accept these truths is to stand at the edge of a vast ocean, acknowledging that while we cannot command the tides, we can learn to navigate the waves. It's in this acceptance, this surrender to the greater rhythms of life, that we find a peace that's both naturally attainable and infinitely sustainable. This peace doesn't ignore the storms. It finds serenity amidst them. It doesn't silence the questions. It finds stillness in their midst. Cultivate this authentic peace begins with a quiet revolution within, a gentle yet profound shift in perspective. It's about learning to see our faults not as flaws to be fixed, but as facets of our unique character. It's about understanding that the whys of the universe aren't roadblocks, but invitations to delve deeper into the mystery of existence. And it's about recognizing that while we cannot escape certain inevitabilities, we hold the power to choose how we meet them. In this journey towards peace, free will is our compass, guiding us not towards escapism or denial, but towards a richer engagement with the world as it is, warts and all. This path doesn't promise an easy walk, but it offers something far more valuable, a peace that's rooted in reality, nourished by acceptance, and resilient in the face of life's impermanence. In embracing our nature and the larger natural order, we find not just peace but a profound connection to the pulsing heart of existence itself. As you stand at the precipice of your own mortality, peering into the inevitable void that awaits us all, take a moment to widen your gaze. See beyond the confines of your existence to the broader landscape of impermanence that surrounds everything: your prized possessions, your social standing, the warm glow of admiration from those around you, and, most poignantly, the people who hold the keys to your heart. This recognition is not meant to sadden or to breed despair, but to illuminate a profound truth. Everything is transient. Everything will come to an end. The natural law, the great equalizer, does not distinguish between the animate and the inanimate, the cherished and the overlooked. It sweeps through the corridors of our lives, claiming everything in its path, leaving behind a silence that echoes with the impermanence of all things. This immutable law, as unyielding as it may seem, is not a foe to be feared, but a teacher to be understood. Why, then, should we dwell on this seemingly morbid truth? Isn't life challenging enough without the constant reminder of its finitude? Here lies the paradox. In the heart of this reflection, amidst the acknowledgement of inevitable loss, we find a wellspring of peace. By frequently turning our thoughts to the mortality of everything around us, we cultivate a resilience that is grounded not in denial, but in acceptance. To deliberate on the death of all things is not to live in morose anticipation of loss, but to deepen our appreciation for the now, for the ephemeral beauty that flits through our lives like a butterfly on the breeze. It teaches us to hold lightly to what we cherish, to savor the moments without clinging, to love without the shadow of possession. This reflection is a gentle, constant reminder that every goodbye carries the weight of finality, urging us to live and love with our whole beings in the time that is given to us. Achieving comfort in loss, then, becomes a practice, a deliberate cultivation of equanimity in the face of life's inevitable ebb and flow. It is a peace forged not in the absence of pain, but in the acceptance of loss as an integral part of the human experience. This peace does not numb us to grief, but empowers us to face it with grace, to embrace the full spectrum of human emotions as a testament to the depth of our connections. So, let us reflect more often than feel comfortable on the transience of all that we hold dear. In doing so, we weave a tapestry of understanding that binds us more closely to the essence of life itself. We learn to live with a heightened sense of awareness and gratitude, cherishing each fleeting moment, each temporary bond, as a precious gift. In the heart of loss, we discover the path to true peace, a peace that is resilient, profound, and deeply rooted in the reality of our shared journey through the ephemeral landscape of existence. Adversity, that unwelcome guest who never bothers to knock, has a way of rearranging the furniture of our lives in ways we never asked for. It walks in, bold as brass, and takes from us things we held dear, things we believed were ours to keep forever. Yes, this is one way to view the upheavals and losses that come with life's storms, a view from the eye of the storm, where all we can see is the chaos and the taking away. But let's step back for a moment, shall we? Let's entertain another perspective, a more empowering viewpoint that doesn't wait for the dust to settle to find meaning and resilience. This perspective hinges on the inevitability of change and loss, truths as old as time, yet often ignored until the moment they barge through our doors. What if we could, through a conscious, deliberate effort, anticipate the nature of these inevitable changes, not to cast a shadow over our joys and successes, but to cultivate a mindset that sees beyond the immediate, that understands the transient nature of all things. But I just learned the transient nature of all things now, you say, and yes, you did. Because it is essential to understand how to handle the loss of transient things you might hold dear. Only then would you be able to overcome the adversity these perceived losses bring with them. Being mindful of the inevitability of loss and change is akin to planting your feet firmly on the ground, bracing yourself against the winds of fortune. It's about acknowledging that everything around us, everything we touch, feel, and invest our emotions in, is part of a larger cycle of coming into being and fading away. This mindfulness isn't a grim resignation, but a practical acceptance that arms us with resilience and grace. Imagine if, instead of being caught off guard by adversity, we had already explored the depths of what it means to lose, to change, to evolve. This isn't about expecting the worst, but preparing our inner selves for the natural flow of life, recognizing that everything is on loan to us. From the tangible luxuries and statuses we achieve to the intangible affections and connections we cherish. The practicality of this approach lies in its ability to soften the blows life deals us. When we understand and accept the temporary nature of all things, we're not as shaken when they transition or transform. This acceptance allows us to cherish the moments, relationships, and possessions we have now, without clinging to them as if they define our very existence. Most importantly, this mindset encourages us to dig deeper into our reserves of strength and wisdom, resources available to us long before adversity strikes. It's about finding stability in the fluidity of life, peace in the heart of change. This is the essence of Stoicism, not a denial of emotion or attachment, but a profound understanding of nature's ebb and flow. Let's keep this dual perspective in mind. Let's appreciate and love fiercely, knowing well that everything is impermanent. And when the winds of change blow, as they inevitably will, let's remember that we have the tools to remain steadfast, not because we're unfeeling or detached, but because we understand the natural law, the birth, life, and death of all things. This understanding doesn't diminish our capacity for joy and love. It amplifies it, making every moment more precious, every connection more meaningful. As we wrap up our exploration, we're not just closing a chapter, we're opening our minds to a treasury of insights that light up even the bleakest roads. We've uncovered that the secret to a less worrisome life isn't dodging the tough times, but reshaping how we confront them. Stoicism has shown us that true richness comes from virtue, not wealth. That peace lies in mastering our sphere of influence, shedding needless burdens, reflecting on life's fleeting nature, and aligning with our authentic selves. This ancient wisdom doesn't sell us the dream of a problem-free existence. Instead, it arms us with the mental arsenal to tackle life's battles with honor and calmness, guaranteeing that amidst the harshest days, we can tap into a deep-rooted serenity. Take these insights with you like a beacon in the shadows, steering you through life's storms with a stoic spirit and a tranquil heart. The Stoics were big on self-awareness. So should we. Let's change the narrative from worry to wisdom in hard times, with Stoicism as your guide. Let's not just survive the storm, but learn to dance in the rain. As always, if you feel helped, then feel free to join our tribe too. How, you ask? By hitting that like button as a symbol of your commitment to change. By subscribing to join a community where wisdom isn't just shared, but lived, to help us create powerful stuff. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, the gentle chime of a Stoic philosopher, reminding you to return to this space of learning and growth. Each like, each subscription, each notification is a step towards a collective awakening. And if you feel that stirring in your heart, that resonance with the words of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, or Epictetus, share this video. That will help us immensely in continuing to create powerful and unique stuff for the community.